All right, Terry. My math's correct. This is about the 54th episode of the sideshow that I've been doing for the Breaking Bad. I think it's time to take our relationship to the next level. Introduce me to your uncle, man.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
That's a good thought.
I mean, it is a good thought, but I have some news to break to you about that.
Yeah, what's going on?
Are you sitting on the crapper?
No, I'm just sitting down in front of you. What's going on?
No, you can't take tough news unless you're sitting on the crapper. I'm sorry, we can't do this.
Welcome back to the Almost Sideshow, everybody. My name is Adam, and that is Terry. And today we are breaking down Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad. For the 54th time, and this episode, it is titled Gliding Overall, which is from Season 5, Episode 8, which aired September 2nd, 2012. Terry, how the hell are you?
I'm doing good. Oh man, I told you, this episode feels like a little mini finale.
It does.
A little
Feels
mini
good.
season finale because it's a little mini season. And now you see why. So we're going to have some fun talking about this one.
Yes. Full disclosure. So after last week's episode aired and I got it edited, my wife wasn't here when I watched it before we started recording last week. So we did watch it over the weekend and I looked at her. I was like, well, technically I did already review it. And so I can't spoil anything for myself. So we'll just watch the next episode, which is this episode today. And I'll rewatch it on Wednesday. I picked up some I picked up some stuff that I didn't see right the first part, like the Walt Whitman book. Didn't see that coming. But I this episode is really, there's a lot of cool little nuggets to pick up with character development and some growth between a lot of the characters. Some steps back on some characters too, and a good little closure for this first chapter of the finale, of the final season rather. Really interesting to dive into this episode.
All right, well then let's do it.
Do
It's
it.
going to be weird not having your instant reactions like we normally do, but we'll go with it anyways. So let's get to our synopsis. Breaking Bad, season 5, episode 8 is entitled Gliding Over All. Here's our synopsis. Mike is dead. And while Walt and Todd clean up the mess from the murder, Walt has another problem to clean up. The 10 guys in prison that know way too much that are no longer getting paid. Walt meets with Lydia to get the names, while Lydia ensures her own survival by setting up a lucrative business deal to take the Blue Stuff International to the Czech Republic. Walt takes advantage of Todd's uncle with connections in prison to get the deed done of cleaning up the last of Gus's loose ends. Then, the money starts rolling in. Lydia's plan to sell to the Czechs pays off as more and more money comes in, and Walt no longer has any partners. After a few months, everything has settled, and enough fat stacks have been made that Skylar asks Walt to be done so their family can be whole again. After seeing just how much money he has made, Walt agrees. He finally gives Jesse his $5 million cut and steps away from the cook. All is well. Until Hank drops a deuce in Walt's bathroom and finds the Walt Whitman book Gale gave Walt, with a message written in Gale's handwriting saying it was for his other favorite WW. Hank may have just found his Heisenberg.
Yes. The finale, just the ending of this episode, just chokes me up, man. This was crazy.
Gets you choked up every time I hear.
Yeah. That was not Knob Creek that Hank was drinking, probably.
So again, we don't have your gut reaction, because usually you finish the episode 5 minutes before we record.
Correct.
You're a little more prepared. However, going back to first time you watched this a few days ago, what was your initial reaction?
The toilet, really? Reading materials, what he got? And that's how he found. Oh my goodness! What a complete The guy remembered the plant that he poisoned Brock with, but couldn't remember the Walt Whitman book. I would have immediately not known a single Walt Whitman source material of any kind if Gail had given Hank a softball like that before. That would have been out my house or underneath the house in the crawl space. And or maybe in that storage unit. But at the same time, that it was a great way for Hank to find out because, of course, the smart ass guy, he's back. He's not limping. He's not limping. Very notable thing
There's
here.
a little hitch in his giddy up, but not much.
Yeah, he's a little slower paced now, but he's got a little. He's a little better than the other uh, previous episodes. But yeah, that's a very interesting way to find out that your brother-in-law has been a big drug dealer. I really liked the sequence with meeting at the diner where he brings in the rice in again, which is a really interesting touch. It's still hanging around. Remember, it's still there, folks. It's still in the outlet. The paranoia of Jesse is very fascinating. Obviously, he knows that Walt's a killer, and he probably knows that Mike's dead. And he said, hey, Saul told me what you did. Skyler makes stacking fat stacks in the storage unit, which is a pretty awesome scene there as well. I also, one of the subtler changes is the lack of purple from Marie in the
Right?
final
I noticed
scene.
that too.
Bright yellow sundress, and maybe that is also her healing in her own right. That's what I will throw out there here. Be interesting to see if more purple shows up later on. But as of now, how we end it, it seems like there's a more hopeful future. You have, Hank cracking wise. Stiff. Who has a stiffy? Yeah, that's what one of the comments there before he goes takes a massive dump. So it's good to see kind of our characters getting back to normal and kind of feeling like themselves until the very final second. But it's really awesome episode. There's a lot of going on. I love how Breaking Bad can also just take a very brutal and intense thing about 10 people getting killed in prison and have a nice little joyful song to it. And I also love them doing that cook with a 3-month cook where they have that Blue Crystal song.
Blue Persuasion.
Yeah, yeah.
That song was. It feels like that song was made for this show.
It was. That was a great song. If that didn't make you want to download it on Spotify, I don't know what will. But it was awesome. Kind of convenient that Todd's uncles are, neo-Nazis. Be able to pull something off like that. I feel it would have been kind of more interesting if Todd, was just like just kind of an F up and just kind of doing his own thing, and that's why he got into it. But he has connections, so only time will tell where that will go. But it's a really good episode, really solid, like closure to this first half here. And if this was what like season one was definitely the weaker of the seasons, but like if season one was able to end on the way it did and be pretty good, this is by far, this first half is far better than the first season, but still just a really good way to close it off and makes you excited for the next episode.
Man, crapping on the first season. I love the first season.
No, I'm not. Well, I'm saying it's picked up so well. Like the season is like so good. It's not crapping on the season when your floor is season one. Yeah. Possibly, maybe not even your floor. I think maybe even season 2 could be the floor because season 2 is great too. What's the bad season of this show? Because you can't tell me season 4 is. It's maybe season 5 at this moment, but we've had some really banger of episodes too. Season 3 is damn good. I love everything with Gus Fring. So maybe season 2 and season 1 could end there, but we had the shortest season for season 1. It's fantastic. But if that's your floor, you're doing really good as a TV show.
Every season just kind of has its own personality. Like season 1,
it's its own vibe.
It's kind of like, we did a sideshow of Barry before, and it kind of feels a little like that, where season 1 almost was a dark comedy because of how much they were bumbling around, right? I mean, it's a barrel, roll it, and just all the different stuff that happens in that season, and it's got some really intense moments, but it's a little more goofy because they don't know what they're doing yet. And then you got season 2 where they're feeling out exactly what's going on. It ends insanely tragic. And then season 3, it's Gus and Walt feeling each other out. Season 4 is the cat and mouse chess game between the two. Who's going to get at the other one first? And now season 5, you're full on Heisenberg and empire building. Um, this isn't the first time where we've had an episode where it's felt like everything is going to be fine until the last 30 seconds. And it always has something to do with having dinner with the Schraders, right? The fateful bottle of wine, it was done. It was over. And then Walt had that fateful bottle of wine and couldn't keep his mouth shut. He's a hack. You should keep looking. And then it all starts up again, right? And that's what kept things going, or else it would have been over. Same thing here. Everything's good. Not only is everything good, Walt's out. He's got enough money to spend in
And
10
back with
lifetimes.
Skylar and the kids.
Back with Skylar, the kids are home because it's over. He's got it all. He's got everything he's ever wanted. He makes peace with Jesse.
Well, maybe.
And
He thinks
as
he made
much
peace with
as
Jesse.
much peace as he was going to make. As
Because
much
Jesse
peace as he was
still
going
does not want anything to do with him. I don't think. We'll
right,
see.
right. But I mean, he did right by Jesse. I'll put it that way. And now we are. And
If he would have done right by Jesse, he would probably throw maybe a couple extra stacks in there.
all he wanted was $5 million. He got his $5 million.
Well, you can throw
We honestly don't know how much money it was, but I'm assuming it was $5 million.
it's 2 duffel
Because
bags.
that was he wanted out for $5 million, and that was it. But yeah, and now you've got you get that hint of, okay, here comes the downfall, because the one person who could ruin everything for Walt now knows.
Yeah.
And now what's going to happen from there? Even though he's done. So it just shows that there's. I just thought of something which is great. The prison scene. That montage there, and you're right. It's so surreal having the pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and start all over again, playing while they're doing their thing, right? But there are so many moments in this episode that are The Godfather. Like The Godfather Part 1, Godfather Part 2, they both end with those gruesome montages of kills while Michael stares off into the distance, right? Both of them do.
Good,
and you see just the ruthlessness of Michael Corleone, just like what Walter White is doing. Like it is a clear homage to The Godfather in how that scene plays out. He's calm, he's cool, he's just doing his thing and letting the people he's hired do what they're supposed to do to clean everything up for him. But then at the end, you get this thought of, we're into Godfather Part 3, right? Just when you think you're out, they pull you back in. And that's what we have there with, he's out, but he's about to be drugged back through all of it because Hank just figured it all out. And that's where it inevitably has to go now.
Mm-hmm.
And you can now see where a little glimpse of where the end is going to go, because everybody knows, or the important ones know at least. Hank knows. The last one that could know does. So
yeah, it's a really good way to close it out. There definitely a lot of growth here. It's gonna be very interesting to see Skylar react to her brother finding out.
In-law, brother-in-law.
Wait, so who's Hank? Isn't it
Skylar and
Skylar's?
Marie are sisters.
That's what it is. Okay, well, yeah, okay. Well, you know what I meant. But it's gonna
I
be
do.
interesting to see how she reacts to her brother-in-law. And I don't want to think Marie finds out, but we're jumping a little too far ahead of ourselves here. But it's going to be very interesting and fascinating to see how the next several episodes will be from this small oversight from Walter White.
Well, and again, I mean, you have thinking timeline again. You had a little snippet where it's been 3 months that Hank and Marie had the kids. So that montage was about 3 months.
Yep.
So that means that little glimpse you got at the beginning of season 5
About a couple months
is
away.
now 9 months away.
Yep.
Because he had his birthday already. He had
Correct,
his 51st, and that opening scene was his 52nd. And so we've got 9 months to go through in 8 episodes to kind of see where that comes in, where that pops up, where that is.
I would imagine it's got to be a little bit of a time jump between this episode and the next one. Got to be something small, maybe.
We'll see.
We shall see.
Let's back it up. Let's focus in on this episode because there's a lot of cool stuff that happens in this episode. What is the best scene? I've got 4 written down, so I'm gonna let you go first.
I've got 3.
Pick one first.
The meeting with Lydia. I'm gonna go with the meeting with Lydia. Going in with the Heisenberg look. Still think it's a silly hat. Instead, it's I don't know. But it's a cool. I guess he's cool. He comes in. He's like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna make this deal. I gave you my word that I'm not gonna kill you. You gave your word because of Mike. I'm taking it because you're needing these names. Mike's out of the question, type of thing. You're not." He's like, "I'm not gonna kill you in a diner. I'm gonna kill you here." He was going to.
Totally was gonna kill her.
He was totally going to do it. I'm not thirsty. I don't need a coffee. It's a great little sequence, little back and forth, little saving your own skin type of thing with Lydia, proving that she's valuable. At first, especially watching the second time, I think she's kind of bad in the scene until she brings up the Czech Republic type of stuff. However, thinking about it now, is she bad or is she just freaking scared? She's probably just scared.
She brings the exact same energy to that scene that she brought to the diner scene with Mike.
Yeah, it's
very just nervous. Mike, she had nothing to worry about, but she was because that's her.
Yeah.
Where Walt, she had something to worry about, but she treated both meats the exact same way. Yeah, she looked hysterical with Mike, and you find out at the end of this one, oh, she actually legitimately read the room right.
Yeah. And then you get the whole thing of it's like, why didn't you bring up this to Gus? It's like, I was, but till somebody killed him. We were going to do this exact plan. Which is an interesting thing that makes gives Heisenberg a little kind of feeling of some gratification. Like, haha, I'm got one up on Gus Fring, so I'm even better than him at this point.
I wonder if she was truthful in that moment, though.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Like, was she BSing him? Was she bluffing him? Like, did she say that to try and save her own skin again, or to play to his ego and say, "Oh, yeah. I did. Gus couldn't pull it off, but maybe you can." That rolled through my head when it happened. I'm not sure.
Actually, a smart idea. That's a smart thought. Actually, I can see it happening. I think she has that survival instinct where she's just trying to save her own skin and trying to find a way to survive at least one more day in this world. And I think that could be something that could have been thought.
But then again, it would also make a whole lot of sense that this would have just started rolling with Gus because he just got the miracle cook, right? He just got the blue stuff not that long ago, so that's what got the ball rolling on, well, maybe we need to go international with this because it's such a good product.
So what was the pure? Do you remember what the purity was with before the blue stuff? That Gus had?
I mean, it sounds like everybody, or what was
Declan was in the 70s.
Yeah, and what was
Czech Republic was 60.
and Gale had a number too that he was proud of. I'm proud of that number. It
93. I think it's
Was it
in the
93?
low 90s.
Yeah. So he had a number in the 90s, but Walt is at 99 or something like that, right? So
He's
yeah,
Coca-Cola.
Yes, he's Coca-Cola. Classic. He was that scene was one of the ones I had written down. Another one, it's the Walt and Jesse scene. I mean, almost every time you see Walt and Jesse meeting in his living room, you know it's going to be a good scene. And there's so much going on in this scene. You don't realize just how much is going on in the scene until you get to the end of the scene, right? You've got Jesse a little freaked out about Walt coming by, and you find out like he went and found his gun stashed away, and just in case something went down, you find out that Walt was right. When Jesse left and he used every line in the book to try and guilt him into staying, he was right. Jesse got bored, and what happened when he got bored over 3 months? He had his bong out. He was using. He was back to where he was when Walt met him. Exactly where he was. He had an empty house. He had nothing to do. He was getting high. He was wasting time. He was wasting his life. And you could see like Walt even gets this sly little smirk on his face, like, "You did, yeah. How about that?" And then the reminiscing, like it's
the crappy RV,
remembering the RV and all of that. It was in the horrible memories, but fun memories that they had in the thing, and us knowing where Walt is at in that moment, we know where it's going, right? We know he's there to make things right with Jesse. He's there to use Mike's term, to make him whole. But
it's nice.
Jesse doesn't know that, and you don't realize just how much Jesse doesn't know that until the scene ends, and you're like, oh. That's why Jesse was a little on edge that entire time. And he had every right to be, considering what the last thing he knew of Walt was. And like he had to go there and tell him that he took care of the 10 guys in prison. And he's like, well,
it's the only way.
Well, we're not in prison, so I kind of figured that's what happened. Yeah. So it's there's so many great things in that scene, and like I said, every time the two of them are alone, especially in Jesse's living room, magic happens.
Yeah, good call. That's a great scene too. I love that one. The killing of the 10 is pretty fun.
The montage.
Yeah, but also the Hank and Walt sit down too, kind of reminiscing about old jobs. Tagging trees is better than chasing monsters. That's my tagline on the bottom in the video here. And it's like, man, I've been thinking about that job a lot. Like maybe I should have enjoyed that a little bit better. Enjoying the little things, even though it might seem like a crappy job. Maybe it's a better job. Maybe, yeah, you're not gonna take it home. Say, turn off the news. I don't want. He's coming home. He's had a bad day. Turn it off. Turn it off. Turn it off.
And immediately, you want a drink?
Yeah. And of course, I've been bringing up the whiskeys and the drinks that they do drink here. Snob Creek is what he was drinking. His little on the rocks, right? Yeah. But he was drinking Knob Creek.
One of them was on the rocks. One of them wasn't, I think.
Yeah, good. Hank is the superior one. Don't drink on the rocks. It's better.
Well, mine is on the rocks here, but I am.
Mine is not. See, like mine is not. So I'm the Hank and you're the Walt in the situation.
Yes, but I have mine in a lowball glass like it's meant to be, and you have yours in a beer pint. So,
well, it was full. No, it was not. Wouldn't be able
Mine's
to
not
do that.
whiskey,
No.
anyways.
Yeah.
Mine's bourbon. I got some BSB tonight.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's not bad. It's not good. I have that too. So. All right. Well, yeah, that's what I had for my scenes. Those
Yeah,
scenes definitely stick out. But you got to go to the storage unit scene too. I also wrote that down.
Oh yeah.
So good.
Just the look of shock on Walt's face when he sees
It's
it
like,
all.
oh, cow.
How much is here? I have no idea.
But no, I have no earthly idea. No
Mhm,
earthly idea. We can't even launder this with 10 car washes.
mhm.
Great line.
Yeah, that's a great scene too. And Skylar kind of in her right mind in that moment too.
Because
It's
it plays
great.
perfectly off the scene. Like, we're kind of enabling you. The best way to heal as a family is heal the family. And so she's like, how big does this pile have to be so I can get my family back, my life back? Love it. Great, great, great moment by Skylar. Really closed out this first half on a really strong note, considering she's probably one of the more broken and not my least. She's probably one of my least favorite parts of this 8th season or 5th season, but still a really solid character. Now you can kind of understand the reasoning why she's kind of the way she's been the last couple episodes, which is good.
All right. Ken wins Bogdan, douchebag of the episode. I went with Flynn.
I have Flynn down too.
Yeah, because I mean, your mom's over. She's actually having a good day, and you got to take a call from your buddy you see every day.
No,
And
yeah.
I'm not doing anything. Oh, you want to watch a movie tonight? No, I got to call Lewis.
What movie would she be watching in 2009?
Ooh,
Okay,
it's
so you get
complicated.
it's it's probably probably
But yeah,
rewatch of Iron Man maybe.
there we go. There we go.
That's a good one, but I have it more for the ending sequence because she calls him Flynn again in the 3 months later sequence. You would think he would be back to Walt Jr. because he's still rocking with the Flynn. It's like, what's wrong? Is he not healed yet? Because he was calling himself Walt Jr. before he went to his uncle's and aunt's house, but now he's back to Flynn again, and now everybody seems to be happy. Oh, we also didn't. We had to shout out to Holly, right? Holly is the daughter's name.
Yep.
For walking, taking her first steps. Good job.
That was pretty cool too.
Yeah. So yeah, Flynn's good. That's what I wrote that one down, but I have like 4 other ones here.
Okay, go for it.
The Fly is also a good
What
fly.
a great shout out in the opening of the episode.
I love it. That's a great one. Silverfish. Yeah.
Silverfish, yeah.
It's a good one. Walter White's water pressure in that shower. We saw the shower twice. The water pressure was horrible. And then Purple. I'm calling Purple a douchebag because, yeah, she got over it. Hopefully. We'll see.
The
Probably
Pinkman.
It's a lot of stuff to get rid of.
Yeah. Pinkman Stickman of the episode. What do you got?
The low-hanging fruit here is Mike because he's stiff.
Oh, too soon.
It is. But young Hank, he worked with trees, so he knows his wood.
Wow. Well done. Well done.
I went with the stick man. Yeah, as was actual trees. That's the sticks.
I went with whoever was driving the RV that Walt saw.
Oh, probably that couple at the
might have been the old married couple.
Oh, I want to know what they're doing. Are they still playing cribbage or whatever game they're playing?
You know what? I don't know if it was because that was like an exact.
Oh, it was, but this was
like within a couple years and in much better shape.
Better paint job, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if it was going to be them, but whoever it was, I mean,
man, imagine if it was what's the cousin Eddie. Imagine if it's cousin Eddie on his way to see Walt Griswold for Christmas.
There's a conspiracy theory for
there
you.
There we go.
That's good. It's good.
Good one.
All right. Best new face. Hey, that's Danny Trejo award
There's a
goes
few
to
people here. There's a few
yeah,
people here. I went with the obvious one here, Jack Welker, which is
Uncle
Todd's
Jack.
Uncle Jack, played by Michael Bowen. Been in some deep dive movies that we've done: Kill Bill, Jackie Brown, some Tarantino classic ones, and Walking Tall. He played the douchebag sheriff in that Dwayne Johnson remake. So there we
Yeah,
go, Michael
I,
Bowen.
I I remember him most
Bowen.
fondly as Buck in Kill Bill,
Hmm.
who meets an unfortunate demise as he was attempting his stickmanery when Beatrix woke up. So that was never going to go well for him.
No, definitely not. But
But yeah, that's
yeah.
what I remember him most from. It's really funny. I actually just like a couple days ago re-listened to our podcast deep dive of Jackie Brown,
I
and
mean, yeah.
he was brought up as being in Jackie Brown, and when they bring him up, they say it's Uncle Jack. Todd and Zach do. So
Interesting. So I didn't understand that reference at the
yeah,
time.
now you do. It's Uncle Jack. It's Uncle Jack.
I may have to go back and re-listen to it. Very underrated movie too.
Yeah.
Jackie Brown. Yeah, that's probably the obvious one. There was a guy sitting on the bed in that same sequence, and he looked so familiar. I don't know exactly what that character's name is, but he looked like, if I could pull up his name here, I have to remember a movie he's in real quick. But oh yeah, there we go. Jeff Daniel Phillips. He looked just like him. Whatever guy was on the bed looked like Jeff Daniel Phillips. And I don't know if you know who he looks like, but essentially,
Ah. Okay.
okay. But he's played in like a bunch of Rob Zombie movies, and like he played in the Munsters, and he played in definitely kind of a horror, kind of more familiar for the horror genre there. Um, but yeah, that's who I thought it was, but it's not. It's just kind of a doppelganger.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. The old Joe Gomi minor character of the episode.
it could be Old Joe.
It
Honestly,
could be old Joe.
it could be.
I just told him it needs to be an RV job, and he knew what to do.
Yeah, but it's got to be Lydia in this one.
That's who I've done too.
Yeah, it's got to be
He was
Lydia.
so good. I mean,
We're trying to portray.
talk about a survivor, right?
Yeah,
She's
I'm a
such a survivor.
survivor. I'll get you met them. Yeah, met them. Yeah. Yeah, good. Yeah,
She's
gotta
talked
be
way out of how many near death situations?
at least 4 more.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
least 4 more.
All right. That's who I had to. But
They
old
gotta be
Joe
that.
is definitely an honorable mention there. The cowhouse dumbest thing said of the episode.
Honestly, it's getting harder because the show is just so well written, and also just like the characters are so fleshed out. Now, too, it's really tough. So I was kind of glad to see some levity from Hank after the 3-month period. Stiff, who's Stiffy? Who's Stiffy? He's like, "Ah, stop." He was clearly talking about Stiff, which begs the question. I know they were bringing up like lemon juice and stuff like that the doctors recommended, and stuff for their hair products. With Marie and Skylar's conversation. I wonder if they
Mhm.
went to the Cameron Diaz Mary something about Mary School of Hair Gel. Probably not that deep, but that definitely would be stiff. But a thing that dumb thing said here also, that terrible screechy noise, like we hit a pack of cats. Yeah, it's called the timing belt. That he's like, oh yeah, it's like Walt didn't know that, but Jesse did. So
Yes,
props
he
to
knew.
Jesse. He
Yeah.
probably
The one thing I had, because you're right. There's not a whole lot of dumb stuff said.
yeah.
It's all
Bottom of the barrel
so
stuff. Yeah.
well well crafted. Um, but the one thing I had was at the start of the diner scene with Lydia. You should order something. No, I'm good.
Yep.
This plays a
Probably
lot
fun.
better if you order something.
Yeah, I don't think I'm not thirsty. I think I'll play just fine, and I'm not thirsty.
Yeah, yeah, that was good. I thought
That's
that was
good.
pretty good.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
All right. Oh, and my wife pointed out I think she probably picked the diner that time, so they had a tea she could drink.
They had a what?
They had to have a tea she could drink
Oh, good call.
because she was actually drinking tea that time. So
That's a good call. Did she?
yeah.
Did she leave a Yelp review? Actually, Yelp
Ooh.
reviews weren't a thing back then, so never mind.
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably not. But she probably had a suggestion for them.
Well, speaking of that, any problems or outdatedness in this
Well,
episode?
that was not an intended
Uh,
segue, but it worked perfect. The money is clearly fake. If you look at the first shot of the duffel bag, there's clearly Ulysses S. Grant, and Ulysses S. Grant is right below him. It's clearly not the same image. He's looking at a completely different angle from like on the side of the money too. It's completely fake. It was glare. I was like, wait, did I just see that right? I had to rewind it on the second watch. I didn't catch it the first time, but it's so fake. It is so fake. It's not Ulysses S. Grant. Could be a stickman though, honestly. Ulysses. Good old Mr. Grant. And also the White's bathroom door. I honestly doors like that. No, bathroom doors. I do not. I think that's good for closet doors, but it has like those little slats in it, so you can clearly
oh yeah.
see inside, and that has nothing to do with smell. You're dropping a Duke in their your bathroom, and you don't turn the fan on. And then you have those little slats. That would be something that I would have immediately because I would hate for that smell to go through the slats. So I'm just not a big fan of those doors. That door would have been replaced if that was my house. So that's what I would say.
That's a good call. That's a good call. All right, so I had a couple things that that I wanted to shout out here. First, so my banner on mine, I thought it worked. It worked perfect on so many different ways. It
Punch.
is checkmate because they are become mates with the checks, but also like in the chess game here, like you feel like Walt might be getting close to checkmate because Hank just found out everything. So I thought that was pretty clever. But the outdatedness of it is the Czech Republic isn't called the Czech Republic anymore. It's
Mm.
called Czechia. And so I thought that was kind of interesting. That something I thought of. Um, and then okay, one thing, all revolving around the last 30 seconds. One thing that's kind of a flaw and one thing that's an outdated that all play into that scene. First, the flaw. Don't they have a second bathroom? Why is Hank using the master bathroom in that moment?
I don't think that's That's not the bathroom in Walter and
Yeah,
Sellers. What?
it is. Because the scene, all right, you said you noticed you
Oh,
noticed after
that
watching it back.
my flaw
Yeah,
could have been completely different then because that makes sense if it's a bedroom door. It's like an entrance to the
right.
bedroom. Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
But you see, like Walt gets out of the shower and the leaves of grass is on the back of the toilet, right?
Oh,
That's their bathroom.
dead giveaway, Adam. Yeah, okay, I
So
gotcha.
why is Hank taking a crap in their bathroom? So that's one thing I thought was interesting. I would say if you want a reason for it, you could say, maybe he was about to drop a bomb and didn't want to stink up the only bathroom everybody else is going to be using, so he went and found the one in the far reaches of the house. Sure, you could go with that, but either way, it's kind of odd. He's going to the master bath. I
Okay.
mean, if you have a house with only one bathroom, it's not a master bath like that, right? It's going to be an offshoot in the hallway or something.
Mhm.
So I thought that was weird. Second thing, and this is the outdated part. This scene does not play out this way
Yeah,
if it were
phones.
today,
Yeah.
because everybody nowadays doesn't have reading material in the back of the toilet. They pull out their phone and have some tinker stinker time, and
Never heard it
and
called that before.
that's that's a reference to the league.
Yeah, that's right. Good call. Great reference. Sign up for
Yeah.
fantasy football, folks. Let's go.
Yes. But yeah, it's I've always called it that ever since I heard it on the league. It's Tinker Stinker time. So everyone's having their Tinker Stinker time now. They don't have to have reading materials on the back of the toilet, so there would have been no reason for Hank to reach back and grab whatever was on the back of the toilet. And there was no reason for Walt to have anything on the back of the toilet. If he read, he would read something off his phone.
And
So
why would he leave that book in the bathroom when his books clearly go in that side table drawer?
it's a good question. He put it there, or did he put it there at one point? I'm not sure. I
Yeah,
think he put
that's
it
where
there like
when
at
he
the
moved
beginning of the
back in,
episode.
he put everything in there. But when he got out of the shower, this is the thing. When he got out of the shower at the beginning of the episode for the first time, that book was sitting on top,
I
which
feel
I
like
never
beginning of the
caught at
episode,
first.
like he moved it to the toilet or something like that. I don't know. I
I
might
don't
be
know.
wrong. But yeah, that's my take on it. So
Yeah, I like
okay,
it.
midlife crisis moment.
Had a bad day at work. Whiskey's a cure-all. Or
It's a
scotch.
good call. It's a good call.
Yeah.
Um, I wrote down having trouble getting perspective on something when you're in the middle of it.
Mm.
Like Walt is working away. He's in the middle of this grind. You can tell he's not sleeping. He's just kind of going for it. He's working. He's going through the motions. He's taking money there. He's taking money here. He's doing this. He's doing that. He's cooking here. He's cooking there. And then Skylar shows him everything he did over the last 3 months. He goes, "Oh, I didn't. That's everything I did." We all have
Mm.
those moments, right? When we get to the end of a project, we get to the end of something, like, "Oh, that's what I just did. Oh, oh, that's something."
That's good.
Yeah.
Quick question on that then. How much soda does this place like? Does she have to launder the soda? Because there's a lot of soda going to that place too.
That's a great call. How much soda does a car wash go through in its vending
Gotta
machine?
launder the soda.
Hmm. Maybe he just
There's
takes the soda back and
there's probably a break room.
recycles the soda.
Yeah.
I think might be it. All right, LVP.
That maintenance crew at that hospital place, because they still haven't replaced that paper towel holder.
That's a great call. That is a great call.
Maintenance. How did that not get a write up? It's been a couple months now.
See, I couldn't remember in that moment if he looks at it and it's still busted,
Oh, it's
or if he
busted.
looked. Yeah, but wouldn't it have been poignant also if he looked at it and was staring at it longingly because it had been fixed?
Mm.
Because it was in that moment that he was starting to reflect, starting to think about, am I done? And then he looks like, you've made everything right. Everyone's been made whole.
Even the
Um,
paper towel dispenser.
yeah, exactly. So
Mm.
that was my one thought with that little moment is I wasn't sure if it was still busted or not when he was looking at it until they showed it. My LVP is Walt Whitman. Um,
Damn you, WW.
yeah, WW. I it really should have just been Willy Wonka. I think that was the more likely one there. MVP.
Skylar.
Ooh,
I'll go Skylar in this episode because you got Walt. You finally found a way to get through to Walt. And
I like it.
I love the can of Raid. She was cleaning it for making sure silverfish. And I had to research what silverfish was. I didn't know what that was. Or at least I didn't know what it was called. So didn't know they ate money, which is a very
Yeah,
interesting thought. I liked the dehumidifier in there. I liked the scale that was also put in there. The thin can of Raid, a red tarp, which is a very interesting color for a tarp that you don't see that often, but it's red. Makes the money pop off the thing. So yeah, I got to go with Skylar here, and you got the family back. Now your husband's just a dumbass leaving his Walt Whitman books, his reading materials everywhere. So
hmm my MVP is the reason Walt and Jesse kept going. Inertia. That's my
inertia.
MVP. I mean, 'cause, I mean, it's momentum, right? You got momentum. Things are going. That's really why they kept through any of this, right?
Have
They
momentum, will travel.
they
Yeah.
got it going. They kept it going, and because that whole conversation was great. Why do we keep using that thing? Like it was bad. We had enough money. We could have bought another one. Inertia. I mean,
Yeah. It's a
you
good
just
call.
keep going. You get it rolling. You keep it rolling.
Do you think
Uh,
that season 1 Jesse would know what the word inertia was?
that's a good question. Ah, inertia.
Yo, bro. Yo,
uh,
dude.
wire.
Why inertia, yo. Hell yeah. I put my
Copper.
chili pea in inertia.
Uh, yeah, that's a good question. That is a good question. Which makes you wonder, did he even know what it meant when Walt said it then? Um,
I think he did at this point,
I
maybe.
think he
We'll
did too.
see.
All right, you're gonna say what you think is coming next after we go through our
What?
stats. The Walter White body count now sits at one Amelia, one Crazy Eight, one Ken Wynn's car, one custodian's career, one Tuco hideout, one lock, one uneaten burrito, one paper towel holder, rot,
Rot.
one back door to Jesse's house, one love of Jesse's life, a few burned $100 bills, one pepperoni pizza, one career in education, one meth making RV, one beginning of a galeful friendship, one fly, two kid killing drug dealers, one Gail Bedecker, one fateful bottle of wine, three laundry worker jobs, one Walter Jr. dream car, one Pinkman living room, one great aunt Birgit, one secret underground meth lab, one Gale special coffee maker, two nameless henchmen, one Tyrus, one Hector Salamanca, one Gustavo Fring, one room full of evidence using magnets, bitch, a, a bunch of insects, one sanity of Skylar White, one kid on a dirt bike, one zip tie around his wrist, one Mike Ehrman trout, and 10 imprisoned Fring legacy loose ends.
You made it a mouthful at the very end. But
It made it. I made it a mouthful. It may be too much of a mouthful. We'll see if I keep keep it
and
there.
possibly his own identity.
Yeah. Well, we'll save that for potentially later
Well,
if
for
that's what
later,
it comes to.
if it goes happens there. All right.
This ass kick count remains at 9.5. He gets his ass kicked once out of every 5.7 episodes.
He was
One
almost
episode.
kicking his own ass for having a loaded gun.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, but I gotta say, what's happening next is there's gonna be a meaningful conversation. I would think so. Um, with Hank and Walt, it would be fitting if it was over some straighter brow. Can't have the public has spoken. Gotta keep the
Public
public
has
wanting.
spoken.
The
It's
public
true.
has spoken. I'll do it. Hopefully Gomi shaves his goatee. I'm gonna bring his goatee in it. I haven't seen Gomi for a little bit, but if he shaves it off, that'd be kind of fun.
Might
Um,
even just change his name to Goaty.
goat. He's the goatee. Uh, yeah, I think too that the one thing we really didn't get any info on is Todd still cooking because Walt's done, but Todd knows how to cook now. He's had 3 months. He's probably getting paid at this point because he's probably done it really well. Obviously, look at this fat stacks they've been stacking. So I'm imagining he's at this point now. We
Stop
know that.
missing the scale when he dropped the bag.
Oh yeah, what a rookie! That could be LVP moment right there. Learned away. Um, but I would imagine, he's probably doing something on his own with Vomino's Pest, and maybe they're the whole the crew is still doing what they do without Walter White there. Maybe Walter White has stepped back and maybe Todd's cooking for his uncle, and maybe Lydia maybe still helping. And then you have to loosen with Declan. So I think it gets a little murky. Maybe something goes awry where Walt has to also come back, and then that gets more criminals for Hank to go after as well. I don't, and kind of ties up. Will hopefully eventually tie up all the loose ends with, can only imagine that there's not many people in this crew that will survive the final moments of the show. But yeah, that's kind of where can kind of see stuff. That's kind of the loose ends that we didn't get any information on. Was with Todd. What's Todd doing now? Probably listening to the episode and cooking some meth. But that's where we're at. What's Todd doing? What's his uncle doing now?
Hi, Todd.
And what's Lydia doing as well? Are they still doing their thing? So that's kind of where I'm headed here as well. And is there going to be another interaction with Jesse and Walt? I'm assuming so.
It's obviously intriguing.
Maybe a less paranoid one. So I'm kind of taking a step back a little bit from my original push on Jesse going after Walt.
That's a good thought.
Oh, you're just confusing me. Stop playing with the buttons. Anyway. Yeah.
All right.
That's what we'll go with before I start talking myself into a bigger circle. And then you're going to learn to just take yes for an answer. That's the thing. Just take a yes for an answer.
Take yes for it. Yeah. That was a great. I like that one too.
Yeah, it's a good line.
I take yes for an answer.
Yeah,
that was a good line. All right. Well, we're 8 episodes down in the season. We got 8 more to go.
It's the final countdown.
8
folks.
more of these. We
8
finished
more.
7. So I got to tell you. So I've watched through the first half of season 5 2 or 3 times. And for whatever reason, when I watched it with my wife, we stopped after this episode. She doesn't remember much about the first half of season 5. But there would be moments where she goes, "Oh, I know where this goes," and then it jogged her memory enough. So the second half of season 5, I've only seen once, and I binged it in like 2 or 3 days. So it'll be kind of a remembering of, oh, that's this episode, or oh, now I remember where this goes. So I'm a little more blind on what we have coming up than I have been on the rest of it.
All right, there we go. I like it. I can live with that. Are we gonna have any more guests show up? Only time will tell.
I don't know. I think Todd wants to show up at least one more time. So
and Zach says he'll be on for the season finale. So
yeah, I'm sure he will.
I'm sure that we'll get the boys back together for a character draft, and we got El Camino we have to do, but that's down the line. Next week we are talking about episode 9, titled something.
It is entitled something. We'll look at that later.
Yep, that's later. This is now.
This is now.
We have to do one thing left.
Breakdown of Breaking Bad.
There we go. Sit and spin.